Hi everyone, it's Lisa Moeller with Medmark Media and welcome to another edition of DocTalk Dental. Today I'm personally thrilled to have our friend and innovator, Dr. Patrick Porter, developer of the BrainTap. BrainTap is a technology distinctively designed to balance brainwave activity with activating the brain's neuroplasticity. Dr. Porter has been featured in the Wall Street Journal, People, Entrepreneur, and Inc. magazines, and ABC, NBC, CBS, and the Discovery Channel. He is head of mind-based studies at Quantum University and is a licensed trainer of NLP. He is the author of 6 books, including the popular Thrive in Overdrive, How to Navigate Your Overloaded Lifestyle. And I cannot wait to pick his brain today. No pun intended. Welcome, Dr. Porter.
It's great to be here.
So happy to have you with us today.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Okay, so can I just tell you, first of all, I want to start off saying thank you so much for creating the BrainTap, because personally, it has helped me so much. I use this, you guys, and it is amazing. So morning when I want to wake up, when I want to start my day, and I want to kind of get my mind clear, it helps. And then at night when I'm going to bed and I want to de-stress and unwind, we've got 800 programs, so there's so much to choose from. Right. So tell us about BrainTap. Tell our audience about BrainTap and how it would integrate with the dental practice.
Well, first of all, they can use it pre or post dental procedure. If someone is feeling stressed out, we have the BrainTap algorithm. So you can talk about neuroplasticity. We can move the brain into a brainwave state where they're calm and relaxed. They can handle what's going on. We actually have sessions where they can actually use it while they're in the dental procedure if they want, for as long as they want to use it, and keep them calm and relaxed, and entertaining the brain while the doctor's doing their work. Right. You can use it afterwards as well. You can even send it home with a patient. So they can use it at home, and we have an app that they can provide to the doctor as well.
Right. And there are how many programs now on your app?
We have over 800 with voice, which means that we have guided imagery programs, but we have over 200 that are just music and the algorithm. So if somebody's doing a process or a procedure where they just want to relax the brain, listen to some really brainwave music, it's going to balance the brain in that way. We have those sessions too. So really over 1,000 sessions are available to them on the app.
That's amazing. So tell us, why did you start BrainTap? Let's go back a little ways.
Well, in the 80s, there was no such thing as neurofeedback. All this neuroplasticity wasn't around. Actually, everyone thought the brain was fixed once you were born and you were developed by 7, 8 years old. You had this cement brain, and that's all you could do. If you were a mathematician, that's what you were. But in my life, we started using sound because my dad was a Silva instructor, and he would teach people to meditate using the Silva sound. And then light came along. So when the computer chip came around in 1986, actually an EEPROM chip, we actually hired an engineer to synchronize these two. And we found that the power of light and sound, and now we've even added vibration here in the last 3 years. So when you add those 3 things together, there's a matrix of activity that happens in the brain and causes the brain to get out of our fight or flight and into the relaxed mode and really reset the brain so that we can get back to having our natural and normal brainwave frequencies and cycles.
Right. So when you talk about resetting the brain, this is nothing dangerous. I mean, medication is what's dangerous, right, these days. So explain that part of the technology with the light and sound therapy and how it relaxes you with the binaural beats.
Right. Well, part of it is that we've done this for years. We've actually been doing this so long that our algorithm has been tested so many times. At one point, we were like last year, for instance, our app played over 500,000 times. Wow. So that means people were listening to our algorithm and going through. So when they get exposed to light and sound, the brain follows it, just as if we were going to the ocean together or going to a mountaintop. And when we're there with the ocean waves, we start to relax. That's because of a brainwave frequency called alpha, and it's about 10-cycle rhythm. And our bodies match that. The science is called frequency following response. So when we experience that, our body matches that. That's the biofeedback. Now with neurofeedback, we can hook up devices to our head like the Muse or an EEG machine, balance the brain, and we can see the brain actually going through it. We added the light because most people, when they close their eyes, to meditate or to relax or just to when they're under stress, the frontal lobe, that part of the brain that does executive functioning, shuts down. What we found is when we introduce light at a certain frequency and we're guiding it along with the sound, it keeps that part of the brain active. So actually our best self shows up in those stressful situations so we can make better decisions.
And that's important.
Yes,
for all of us. My husband introduced a variation of the BrainTap to me that you had started with the Zen frames a long time ago, over 8 years ago now.
Yes.
And I kind of thought he was a little kooky when he brought it to me. I'm like, what is this, you know? And I put it on and tried it and absolutely fell in love with it. I wasn't sure with the lights and how that was gonna, you know, how I would react to that, but it was so soothing, and the binaural beats, and now you've evolved into this version of the BrainTap, which is now wireless. And tell us about the latest and greatest with your applications.
Well, what we do with also can be done just with the app. So think about it that way. Somebody can just use the app and get the sounds and the frequencies. That means the body is hearing those frequencies through. Now the average headphone is really a super therapeutic tool. We could put that on and we start getting those frequencies. But then when we add the light to it, in the earphones we have light. People look at that and go, why is light in the earphones? It's something called photobiomodulation, which means we're going to introduce photons to the body. Mitochondria health is really important right now for everybody who wants to do some anti-aging and keep their brain functioning. So
I want that.
Yes. So we introduce light into the body through the ears because the blood flows through the ears every 3 to 5 minutes, depending upon how fast your heart is beating. Mm-hmm. That means those photons are circulating with the red blood cells through the body, and when it finds a cell that isn't operating in peak performance, it then borrows a photon. It kickstarts that mitochondria, and then that basically starts what they call the Krebs cycle. So the body starts to rebuild itself. Because of stress, low-level chronic stress that most people are under, and especially think about it, people don't really look forward to going to the dentist. Right? They stress out, they fret, they don't make their appointment.
Right.
But what if they could come to the dentist and get an exciting experience and say, wow, I actually feel good when I leave.
Right.
You're going to have better client retention, better experiences, and they're going to tell them, hey, you got to go to this dentist because he's got something new and different that other people don't have.
That's the goal. I mean, happy patients, able to walk out of a dental procedure calmly and happier than they walked in. That's amazing.
Exactly.
So, I mean, stress in our lives is, I mean, everybody has stress, right?
Right.
How, in your perception, how does stress affect a person's health, and how can the BrainTap help with this?
Well, the key thing is when you're under low-level chronic stress, that means your digestive system isn't going to work very well. So what happens to a lot of people is because you're in this stress place, you're making decisions based on reactionary systems instead of interacting with life. And when you might be eating the best foods, taking the right nutrients, but your body is under this stress. So the way that our body is kind of primitive still, even though technology has made our lives more advanced, our bodies haven't kept up with that advancement. So when we relax again, we get back to basics, and with the BrainTap, we start to relax the body. Now our digestion works better. Most people don't realize that digestion, your gut makes the neurotransmitters that your brain needs, but your brain can't instruct the gut unless it's in the right brainwave pattern. So each night when you go to sleep, when you go through these different brainwave frequencies from beta, being awake, down through alpha and theta, down into delta. We do this usually 3 or 4 times when we're healthy and we're relaxed. Maybe we're on vacation. We don't have to worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And while we're doing that, the brain is actually instructing the gut, hey, we need acetylcholine, we need dopamine, we need all these different neurotransmitters, but it can only make those when it's in those different brainwave states. So if you think about it, the BrainTap is one of the most advanced tools for anti-aging, because what happens as we get stressed, everyone knows when you're stressed, you age faster. So we want to relax. And also any painkiller, like when they're going to the dentist, when they're taking Novocaine, they're going to need less of it, which means recovery is going to be faster, healing is going to be better. Because when you're outside of beta is where stress happens. It's your reactionary mind. When you get into the alpha theta brainwave frequency, which is what we're training people to do with the BrainTap mostly, then you're creating your own natural neurochemicals that cause your body to de-stress and not feel pain, because pain only happens in beta. So when you're not in beta, you don't feel the pain. So the procedure happens quicker. We have some medical offices that do the laser treatment on the legs, where they used to give them some kind of sedative.
Yes.
They don't have to do that at all with the BrainTap. They can do the whole procedure, no pain at all in the body.
Wow.
Because the person's been conditioned with the BrainTap.
Wow, that's amazing. Same with the dental office, right? With the procedures.
Right.
I have 4 magazines, and I believe in this product so much, and we came to you and said we wanted to introduce it to the dental market. And through implant, endo, ortho, and dental sleep, we are, especially dental sleep, this is imperative for people with sleep apnea who need to get their rest. And I should know because I have it.
Yeah.
And again, it works for me. So
Right. Part of the key too with the sleeping, they can get the appliance, they can do all of that, but if they're psychologically still not there because they haven't changed their thinking about it, that's, in those that know NLP know, that's an anchor. So their anchor is they go to sleep and they know their body starts to breathe inappropriately. But now when we teach them to breathe again through the relaxation response, maybe even while wearing the appliance, there's more compliance there too as well, and the body receives that information and relaxes to a deeper level. And then that becomes the new conditioned response instead of the old stressed out conditioned response. And they get better sleep, wake up more charged and energized.
Well, everyone wants that.
Yes.
And I can replace my expensive night creams. I mean, it's a bonus. Mm-hmm. So what's on the horizon for BrainTap?
Well, I think that the main thing is that we want to get the app first of all. I mean, we have the threshold for getting into our program is very low. They can actually go online and start for as little as $2 for a month, you know, to get started in training people. So that's one of our main missions, is to help people through this neuroplasticity process, get them out of this low-level chronic stress and into a relaxation response. And then, of course, we have the headset that you're holding right now.
Yes.
That's a key component to it. And I think for us, is introducing this to the dental market is very important because they see their dentist so often and they're stressed out. So this would be a perfect place to introduce a treatment for de-stressing. So we feel that every home should have a BrainTap, you know, because the family can use it. We have children's programs. If the husband or wife golfs or does other sports, I mean, with the Olympics going on right now, we have several of the Olympians who are using the BrainTap. We'd like to have more of them using it.
Love that.
All performance starts in the mind. Mm-hmm. So whether you're a peak performance on the field or a peak performance in life, you need to train the brain to handle that kind of stress. And
Absolutely.
That's really where we're going.
My husband and I like to say, if you've got a head, everyone with a head needs a BrainTap. I mean, it's true. Kids and elderly people and, you know, anyone in between. Yeah. It's a very, very effective tool.
Right. If you don't maintenance your brain or mind, someone else or something else will. So the conditioned response is mostly we revert to stress. You know, one of the sayings, unfortunately, is if you're feeling too happy, everything's going good for you, you can just turn on the news and you can be depressed in no time.
Yes.
So, and that's because thoughts create things. Thoughts create a chemical reaction in the brain that creates a magnetic attraction to our life, meaning that emotion drives behavior. So if we can get the emotion more relaxed, more comfortable, we'll have better behaviors. So whatever you want to do in your life, and this is a world of constant change. I mean, we wake up today, it's different than it was yesterday. It's going to continue along those ways. So we need to train like every day is our Olympics. And not just, a lot of people are really concerned about their body, but they've never thought about training their mind or conditioning the way they think.
Right.
You know, so much.
You get your head straight and everything else comes after that, right?
Right. Well, in life, we're always told what to think, but we're never trained how to think. So with BrainTap, we're going to teach people how to think. We don't, you know, it's not about what you're thinking as much as how you're thinking about different things. And that's where NLP really excels. And you know, some of the great thought leaders out there like Tony Robbins or Richard Bandler and all of them, they came before. And when we utilize those technologies, we help people. And this is an easy delivery system. If you can fall asleep, even if you can't fall asleep right now, 1 out of 3 people right now are having problems with sleeping in America.
Right.
So that means the dentists have a big job ahead of them.
Right.
If they're really going to attack this, because some of it is the obstruction, but what about the others? They could help them with the BrainTap too.
Yeah.
So they don't even know this is a solution. And what we find is typically, that's the biggest feedback we get from the BrainTap is, wow, I'm sleeping through the night. Why is that? Well, we've just taken them through a cycle of sleep in 10 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever the program is. And we've retrained the brain so that without their conscious mind's involvement, it's basically, if you can take a nap, you can do the BrainTap.
Right. Well, sleep is just so important. And I know, you know, I wear the Fitbit at night to track my sleep. And on the nights, and I try and BrainTap every single night, but there's a night or two where I don't get to do it for some reason. And I don't get as good of sleep. I can see on my tracker for the Fitbit that it's just I didn't go into a deep sleep or I didn't go into REM as much. And so I keep track of it that way. It really, really does work, and it makes a huge difference for me personally.
Most people don't know, in 2016, Scientific American came out with, if you don't reach level 4 sleep, you never detox the brain totally. So once you reach level 4 sleep, they now know that we have a lymphatic vessels in the brain. And at that moment of level 4 sleep, which we usually hit 3 or 4 times at night, that's that deep delta sleep that you're getting, the deep sleep that they show you on the thing. At that moment, the brain literally opens up the gateway and your body becomes paralyzed. They call it sleep paralysis. But the synapses open in the brain and flushes out all the toxins. Now, if you don't do that, of course, the brain's going to do what it can to detox, but it shows up as brain fog, confusion, stress, and we want to get rid of that. That's a stress that we can all get rid of if we're sleeping through the night. So get our brains back working the way they were intended.
Right, for sure. Well, just hearing your voice, because you're on all the you're on all the tapes, on all the sessions, it just makes me want to take a little nap. In a good way.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if you want to. I was introduced once in Austin, Texas. It goes, the guy sleeps with over 100,000 women every night. So, but then a guy came up to me at the break and said, well, I go to sleep with you too, Dr. Porter. So it's one of those things where you put it, you don't have to use it at night, but a lot of people do because it puts you to sleep at that point.
Right.
Most people will do it in the middle of the day when they usually would go get their coffee or whatever, their stimulant, because we have programs we call digital coffee. You put them on, you can recharge, you have the most powerful pharmacy on earth between your ears. So if we can trigger that by thinking the right thoughts, you're going to have the energy you need to go through the day and achieve the goals you want without the downside of compromising the health of your body.
That's so important, so important. There's so many stressors in our day-to-day life, and like you said, turning on the news and, you know, I mean, we just can't keep programming our brain with all that negative energy. And if we have to watch it, and we do, this definitely takes care of it.
Right. Well, we have to know what's going on, of course, in the world, but we don't want to be affected by it.
Yeah.
You know, we want to be in the world, but not of it, as they say.
Right.
So part of it is just knowing when to accept or absorb that negativity, or when to be more like Teflon. You know, let it bounce off you, not stick to you.
Yeah. Well, we're in the process of expanding our office at MedMark, and we're putting a BrainTap area into the office. So my team can go and reinvigorate during the day and take 20 minutes out of their busy work day to just kind of quiet their minds. And I think happier, more rested employees are better employees, right?
Yes.
And
well, we've been finding more companies are coming to us and saying, hey, how can we implement BrainTap into the workplace? So every dental office could have a place for a wellness break.
Absolutely.
You know, they just set it up, the dental hygienist or the front desk person or the doctor even can take a break and then be refreshed.
Right.
It's like taking a 20-minute session is equivalent to a 3 or 4 hour nap. And you wake up, it wakes up on an upcycle. So you actually wake up with energy instead of, it's not like some people will take a nap and go, I've tried to take naps, I wake up, I'm groggy. That's not the case with the BrainTap because the algorithm guides the brain through that state and wakes you back up at the end.
I think with the dental offices specifically, they should, if I were a patient coming in, and I've talked to my dentist about this, having their patients on in the beginning of the procedure and the end of the procedure, and you're walking out a super happy camper. So that's the goal. We're getting the word out together, aren't we?
Yeah, I like that goal. So we'll help you do it as much as we can here.
Well, I just want to thank you again so much for your time today and for coming over to join us and get this important information out, and for this product. Again, thank you so much. It's made a huge difference in our lives.
Well, you're welcome, and I look forward to helping millions of other people.
Absolutely. You'll come back and see us again soon?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay, thanks. Take care. So that's going to do it today for another edition of DocTalk Dental. I'd like to thank BrainTap Technologies and Dr. Patrick Porter for enlightening us with this amazing product. For more information on where you can purchase a BrainTap and get your free 30-day trial, please go to braintapdental.com. And as always, for more information on other episodes of the show, please go to doctalkdental.com and medmarkmedia.com. Thanks so much for joining us today, everyone. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.